Business burnout. It's real. Even when you're following your passion, doing what you love, and helping other people, or maybe it's especially because of those things. Either way, it happens to even the best, most organized, most on top of their game small business owners. Whether you flirted with business burnout firsthand or just heard about it through the business grapevine, one thing is for sure. Nothing good can come of it, especially for that business that's currently burning you out. Today, I'm going to share with you the 5 most common causes of business burnout, especially for coaches and other service-based business owners, and how you can avoid them. So stay tuned. Hey there, I'm Shawn Mynar, and this is Unstuck Entrepreneur. I'm a former nutritionist who turned a struggling, stressful nutrition practice into a thriving, freedom-filled online business where I work from home in my sweatpants while reaching and helping thousands of people all at the same time. Now I'm obsessed with showing other heart-centered coaches, practitioners, and solopreneurs how to build a business and life they love. Consider this podcast your safe space to learn both the inner work and practical strategies required to build the impactful, profitable business of your dreams. No hustle, grind, or long hours required. That's right, hustle culture, not welcome here. Let's get into today's session. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the Unstuck Entrepreneur podcast. I'm Shawn, your host. And I am so happy to have you here checking out the show and this particular episode all about business burnout. Because it's real, it happens, and it may have already happened to you, it may not, but either way, we got to figure out a way around that, because as soon as you're in this place of burnout, you're kind of stuck. Right? Because the energy of burnout does not equate to the energy of aligned, inspired action and growth and building and excitement and all those things that we need to have this really amazing business that we want. So that's why I chose to have an entire episode specifically around burnout. I have only one quick thing I want you guys to know before we dive in, and that is that starting next week, next episode, which if you listen to these episodes as they come out, that means in February of 2023, I will be starting a whole series around copywriting and messaging. As you know, if you've been hanging out with me for a while, I've been diving into copywriting certification actually, and having so much fun with it, enjoying every moment, learning so much. And now, of course, wanting to share that with you because it is like the thing that you need to know that will make, honestly, I think, the biggest difference in your business. So we're going to start talking about that over the next few episodes, starting next week, next episode 184. So wanted to make sure you knew that ahead of time so you can, if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed to the Unstuck Entrepreneur podcast so you get notifications when those episodes come available. All right, let's dive into these 5 big reasons for business burnout. Not all the reasons, of course. I'm sure there are hundreds of reasons that you could be burnt out in your business, but these are the 5 most common that I see in my clients and with the people I have connected with who are coaches, practitioners, experts, consultants, and service-based business owners. Number 1, you are not putting on your entrepreneur hat. I have talked about this before here on the show, and it's still something I see all over the place. You are a coach, you are a helper, you are a giver, you are that person that knows they want to be of service to more humans. And that is amazing. We need you. I really believe the whole world would be better off if we all had a coach of some sort in our lives. So that is necessary and great and amazing, and you're doing awesome work. But a coach is not a marketer and often not a natural entrepreneur. A coach isn't a strategist. A coach isn't a business person. A coach isn't, a sales guru per se. But if you want to be a coach of any kind and you want to have a business, then you have to be willing to put on a different hat. And that is the hat of the entrepreneur. Because your skills as a coach or a practitioner or the expert are not the same skills necessary to build a business. They are entirely different sets of skills. And yes, there is some crossover, and we'll actually talk about that as we talk about copywriting, because that's really where your skills as a coach can come in handy in the entrepreneur world. So we'll talk about that coming up in the next couple episodes. But overall, you showing up in your business as a coach is causing burnout, which you may or may not have even realized, because you're trying to use the skills you do have that do often come naturally to you as a coach to build something that doesn't require those skills. And then it's not working. And then we get into some of the other reasons for burnout too. And it's like fitting a square peg in a round hole, common phrase that you hear, and it just doesn't work. It just can't happen because it's not the right fit. So then obviously the way to avoid this or to get out of this cause of business burnout is to be okay with putting on that hat of the entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur or a business owner with a coaching business, with a nutrition business. We've talked about this a few episodes ago of just simply changing that identity for yourself. And so just even thinking about that, hey, I'm a coach versus, hey, I'm a business owner with a coaching business, you can see how that vibe, that energy shifts. And when that energy shifts, then the way that you think, the way that you act, the way you hold yourself shifts too. And those shifts mean that you can now see opportunities, you can see strategies, you can see these breakthrough moments with a totally new lens. And that lens will be what catapults your business forward. And they are things that you simply cannot see, feel, experience, understand as a coach or with that coaching lens on. So you are a coach when you're with your clients and, looking through their paperwork, creating their protocol, all that stuff, everything you're doing with your clients. And then you are stepping into the role of business owner at the other times in order to market yourself, in order to create your processes and systems and work behind the scenes. That all requires the entrepreneur hat. And if you are not making that switch, hello, burnout, because you're trying to put that square peg in a round hole over and over and over again, and you're coming up against that resistance because it doesn't work and it won't work. So even just you being here listening to this podcast already shows your commitment to learning how to put on that entrepreneur hat, to learning what that means and looks like for you and your business. So you're already doing it. But is there anything else, anything more that you can do? Do you feel like you have the skills built up that you need to feel confident in having that entrepreneur hat on? And if you don't, then where are you lacking? What else do you think you need to learn? And then go learn it. There are a bazillion resources available to you to learn these skills. They are all learnable for all people. I learned all of it. I did not start my business knowing anything about business or remotely being an entrepreneur. I had no clue, but I learned. I have read hundreds of business books. I have been listening to business podcasts for years, since podcasts became a thing. I've been listening to business podcasts. There are tons of free resources that you can use. And yes, you should also be paying to learn as well. And that's something we're going to get into soon here in another reason. So you have the power, you have the ability, you can learn what it takes to step into that role. It's not something that's like innate and you do and don't have it. And if you don't, then you're just screwed. No, you all have the capability, the resources, free or paid, to make that possible for you. And to know how much easier this all feels when you do have those skills, when you are taking the time to learn that instead of trying to maneuver your way through a business world as a coach. That feels really hard and sticky, and hello, burnout, right? So kudos to you for being here listening to this podcast, which is part of the bazillions of things that you can do to build up your skills as an entrepreneur with a coaching type business or service-based business. Okay? All right, moving on to number 2, you're overwhelmed with all the business advice and strategies. So going back to what I just said, where there's a bazillion of resources that you can use to learn about business and step into the role of entrepreneur, that means there's also the real possibility of overwhelm when you realize that there are bazillions of things that you can learn and ways that you can grow and resources that you can dive into. And then you start doing that and there's so much information, like noise coming in from all angles. And even if you're just following a few business people on social media, you can be consumed with the different advice and all the different things that you should be doing and all the places you should be showing up and all of that stuff, and quickly leads to overwhelm. And we all know that overwhelm equals inaction. Like the second you start feeling that sense of like, oh my gosh, there's so much. What do I do? I'm doing everything wrong. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to believe. It's complete shutdown to especially that aligned action that we want to be taking, and really looking internally and understanding through your own self what action works best for you and what you should follow and what you can just kind of block out as noise. So let me simplify this for you. First of all, yes, you do need to learn and build the tools required to have a business, to officially be an entrepreneur and step into that role for yourself. So find the people that you connect with, that you resonate with. I would say keep it under 5 people that are business coaches or strategists or marketers or whatever it is. Keep it under like 5 people and just focus on that. But they should be people that you connect with, that you trust, that have businesses that you desire, and learn from them. I think the noise really comes in when we start trying to learn all the things and we dive in and we're like, yes, this is so great. This is so exciting. Oh, here's someone to follow. Here's someone to follow. Here's a podcast to listen to. Here's a book to read. And then you start compounding and those people's advice are different, or they clash, or they just don't make sense when working with one versus the other. And that's when it starts getting too confusing, too overwhelming, and you feel stuck again. So dial it back, find those people that you want to follow, that you admire, and start there. Start with their content, with their books, with their podcasts, with their social media, with their website, whatever it is that they have. Start there and keep it simple and basic. And then once you feel like you've gotten that foundational advice going and you feel like that coaching that they've provided you has really sunken in and you've taken on that role, then you can expand and start looking at different areas and different experts that you want to follow and learn from. But keep it small to start. Have this little like bubble of coaches that you want to really lean into, and then let it grow once you feel complete there. The other thing I want to say is, when you are learning all these things and following all these people and really trying to get your business set up and you start feeling that sense of overwhelm, it's usually because that to-do list has gotten really long. It's like, I got to do this. I got to be here. I got to set that up. I got to get this going on behind the scenes. You start feeling like there's a lot to do. And yes, it could be because you're following a few too many people and taking a few too many pieces of advice all at once. But I also think that at that point, if it starts feeling like that, you need to take a step back and make sure that the most important thing going on in your business is actually going on. And that is to have a paid offer that is attractive to the right people who are your dream clients. Like, if you don't have a way of making money in your business, then none of this actually really matters yet. You've got to get clear and confident in your irresistible offer. That irresistible offer could be a one-on-one coaching package. It could be your signature program. It could be an ebook. It doesn't matter what it is. It just matters that you have that thing that is going to make you money, because only when you make money do you have a business. If you're not making money, you have a hobby. You have a hobby where you post social media posts and write blog posts. You don't have a business. So first, dial in your offer, because until you have that, then all this other noise and advice and tips that you are hearing doesn't matter. It's not going to work because you don't have a way of getting paid. So figure out what that paid offer is, get it set up in your business, get clear on it, get confident, know all of the ins and outs, and then you can start applying what you're learning from these other avenues to that. So just having a really solid, attractive, paid offer for your audience automatically calms down that burnout. Because sometimes you're just burnt out because you're doing a lot of things and not making any money. And sometimes you're just not making any money because you don't have a paid offer. So figure that out. Get that set up, get that built. If it's your program, build it. And then create this atmosphere around it, the business environment around it, all focused on that one paid activity. Because then, hey, when you start making money, it can really work to squelch that feeling of burnout, especially if that is arising because you're doing a lot of work for free right now. Okay, that's number 2. Moving on to number 3, you're still trying to DIY your business. Yep, told you this was coming. It is just something, I did it too. Totally understand. I spent the first 3 years of my business trying to DIY my business success and growth. And hey, I think we all know the story of how that went for me. Not great. And then honestly, the moment I took a leap, invested in a business coach for the first time ever, it sparked this massive shift that changed everything forever. And it wasn't like we even really did anything revolutionary or crazy when I had this business coach, but your whole energy around your business changes when you invest in it in that way. So yes, I understand if you are someone who is still kind of, listening to the podcast, downloading all the free resources, reading all the advice given on Instagram posts. I get it. But at some point, you are going to need to take it to the next level and invest in your business and stop trying to DIY something that is like your livelihood. You have a business. You want a business. You want to be able to quit your job. You want to be able to make real money in your business. Then that is not something that you can DIY. This is not like going to Goodwill and finding this amazing vintage dresser and sprucing it up. That is DIY. Please go DIY that. That's amazing. This is not that. This is your business. This is your livelihood. This is your future. And there are so many people who want to help you make that future a reality for you. And again, it just comes down to finding that person or those few people that you resonate with, that you admire, that have a business that you would love to have, and working with them in whatever capacity they have available for you. And I feel like almost all business coaches at this point have payment plans and have things, lower priced options and things that you can do to get help and support one step at a time, just based on whatever you can do right now. So you don't have to take out a loan to work with someone these days. There's lots of different options, but I do think it is time that we start looking at the money that you spend on your business as a true investment in your future, not a cost that you will never get back. Spending money for your business is an investment. And, I'm not just talking about coaching either, really anything. I want you to think about this. Think about any other business. Think about the coffee shop on the corner or your favorite restaurant. Think about even your accountant and what they have to invest in to even just start their business. We're talking thousands and thousands of dollars. And you, as a coach, especially if you're working from home and you're doing virtual, it is minimal, but it's not nothing. It is minimal, but it's not nothing. And there's so many people that won't even invest in software to host their coaching because they don't want to pay $150 a month. But how else are you going to run a business? To have a business, you have to be willing to put in some investments before you're even making money, because how else will you make money? Just remember that, and don't be afraid to spend that money. And again, I'm not talking about you going into massive debt or anything like that. Please don't do that. Don't put yourself in financial insecurity because of this, but be prepared to spend a little money to make the money that you want to make, plus 10, 20, 100 times more than that. And again, this is really the only business model that I can think of where the investments initially are as low as they are. Think about that restaurant that you love to go to. Think about all that stuff they had to buy before they could even open their doors. I mean, that is insane to me. And we don't have to do that, but we do have to get some coaching. We do have to have some software. We have to have some things set up in order to have a profitable business. It will take an investment, a little bit of an investment. So please see it as that, and don't see it as this major cost, this major expense that you're never going to get in return. You will get it back if you invest in the right people, the right things, the right setup. It will be worth it 1,000,000 times over. So please don't try to DIY something that you shouldn't be DIYing. I understand if you are there right now. I have been there too. And I want to save you from the frustration headaches, the overwhelm spirals, and the burnout that causes. You don't know what you don't know, and you've got to learn it from someone that does know. So please see that as the investment that it is. Get yourself some help. Number 4, you are non-committal. Ooh, I see this one a lot. And this is energy vampire so badly that it will be the death of you and will definitely be the business burnout central. And that is trying all of these things to get your business going. And it really does kind of go back to what we've already talked about in all that advice that you're getting from all these millions of people you're following that have different conflicting advice. And so you're okay, I'll try what she said. Okay, now I'm going to try what they said. And now I'm going to go over here and do this thing that I heard. And you're all over the place because you are focusing on the big picture instead of finding those few people that you just want to really work in depth with. And so you take in all of this information and start trying to apply it. So you'll get really into blogging for a little bit until you realize literally no one is reading your blogs. So then you say, okay, never mind. I'm just going to focus on social media because that's what this person says to do. I'm going to post 5 times a week and I'm going to make 4 of those reels and one of those reels is going to go viral and then my whole world is going to change according to this person. And so then you get really into social media, post a little bit, and then realize you literally get 7 likes. And then you go and you're like, okay, yes, I'm going to create a freebie. I definitely want to grow my email list. I don't want to have to worry about social media anymore. So I'm going to use this to grow my email list and I can just forget Instagram entirely. So you create this freebie, you add it to your website, and then nothing happens. You forget all about it and you move on to the next piece of advice and see what is going to work next. What will be the thing that finally kicks this off? Here's the deal. Nothing is going to happen as fast as you probably want it. We talked a few episodes ago about patience being your ultimate friend here. But I feel like this non-committal thing really happens because of that, and still looking for that thing that will work and that thing that will take off and the thing that will be your thing, whether that's podcasting or blogging or social media, reels, whatever it is, finding that thing. And the only thing about that thing is that it's going to happen over time. So this non-committal thing is really just absolutely zapping your energy and your momentum because you're like task with switching, you're jumping from thing to thing instead of just staying consistent with one thing or 2 things for the long term. That consistency and showing up in that way is a lot more friendly to your energy and your whole thought process and everything. And of course, your momentum than just jumping around from thing to thing, trying to find something that works. Nothing is going to work with that mentality, with this non-committal mentality. It's just going to burn you out from all of the things. Instead, I think as a way to burnout proof yourself and your business, you've got to more so focus on your own flow, like what works best for you, and make that your thing. And stick with it over and over and over again. Find a way to get in your zone, get in your flow, and stay there. Even if you get 0 likes, even if no one reads your blog post right now, that doesn't mean that that's how it's going to be forever and you should just jump ship. Stick with it for the long haul, because the more you jump around, it's like you're starting over every single time. You post on social media for a few weeks and then it doesn't happen. Like you get the 7 likes and you're frustrated. So you give up and ghost your social media audience for a month. Then you're back starting over again and trying to build up that know, like, and trust from the very beginning again, because now these people haven't seen your face or anything from you, seen your name pop up for over a month. And, they don't know if you actually really care about them or care about what you're talking about. If you can ghost that quickly and easily, that's what it looks like on their end. Now on your end, it's just you wanting to really find that thing, and you are committed and you do want it so bad, but almost so badly that you're shooting yourself in the foot because you're jumping around trying to find the thing that works, when really the thing that works is the thing you'll stick to, the thing that you can commit to, that you like to do, that you want to show up for. So figure out what that is. Find the few things that make you feel the most in flow and stay there for the long haul. And again, going back to the very beginning, first figure out that paid offer that you really feel confident in, that you're excited about, that's in alignment with the people you want to help, and then build your flow around that and have it all stem from that and come back to that one thing, because that's how you get the right people in your audience and you create that whole environment around your paid offer. And again, once you do that and you're willing to stick with it, that's when things really start to happen. So get clear get committed and stick with it for the long haul. And I promise you that will feel a lot less burnoutable than this jumping all over the place kind of thing. And the last reason number 5 for business burnout, you're not following your intuition, your purpose, your dharma. This is like a gigantic one that I apparently decided to save for last, but it also really speaks for itself. You've got to follow what your real, true purpose is for being on this planet and your passion is. And it is entirely possible that you're working on a business that isn't what you're truly passionate about or what you're actually here to do during your time on Earth. It's entirely possible. And if you feel like everything else is going the way that it should be, or you're doing what you want to do and need to do in every other aspect, but it still feels energy draining, then it is because you're not actually in alignment. And when you're not in alignment, hey, you could be doing all the right things and it will just be so draining and cause so much burnout that you can't keep going, that it feels like this uphill battle, even though on the outside, everything is going great and looks like a perfect business. And I actually had an experience with this. I think I've talked about this on the show before, but I'll quickly share it again. When I was nearing the end of my nutrition career, my career as a nutrition coach, specifically around keto, those last probably 20 episodes of recording that podcast, it absolutely drained me. It was the only thing that I could do that day. I would have to immediately go take a nap after I recorded those podcast episodes because it was just no longer in alignment with what I wanted to do, what I was passionate about, and what I felt like my purpose was. Like I realized a few months before I really started feeling that, I had realized that that wasn't my purpose here on this earth, was not to tell people what they should and shouldn't eat. That just didn't feel good for me anymore. And so then recording those episodes was really challenging. It was so energetically draining for me because I was going against my alignment, going against my purpose and passion at that time. And on the outside, you had no idea. The business was booming, tons of people listening to those podcast episodes, just everything. No clue that that would be going on. But internally, for me, I was out of alignment and I was so burnt out and I was barely working. Like I was working probably under 10 hours a week at that point, and yet so burnt out. Felt like I was working 100 hours a week. And that's when I knew I got to make a switch. This is not worth it to feel this way. This is not why I wanted a business. This is not going how I wanted it to go. I got to make a change. That may be where you are or where you have been in the past. And you can try all the things. You can learn how to do all the things and all the strategies, and it will not matter. You have to find what is truly in alignment with you and what you're really here to do. And you actually may be feeling this now if you are someone that still has a job and kind of are building your business on the side. You may be feeling that in your job. And you know, yes, I feel burnt out when I go to work and then I start working on my business and I come alive. That could totally be the case. And then you know that that is what you should be doing. And then it's obviously getting to the point where your business can be your main gig to where you can really fully be in alignment. And shout out to all of the people who are working full time and building their business as a side hustle right now. Major kudos to you. And it will get to the point where, yes, you can quit that job. But you may be feeling that way in your business too, even if, you're not working a ton of hours in your business right now, or you've really stalled out. It could be because it's not in alignment with what you truly want to do. Maybe it's something that you happened into at some point in your life, or you had a personal experience and then decided you wanted to coach people on that, but then now you're realizing, hey, I actually don't really want to do that. Like, I don't want to keep reliving that in myself, which I also experienced when I was coaching people with autoimmune disease. It just kept bringing up my own experience with autoimmune disease every time. And it was something I just kind of wanted to let go in myself. And so I had to stop coaching people on that in order for me to let that go as well. That might be the case, and that is all okay. The only thing is you've got to come to terms with that. You've got to realize that and get in touch with what you really do want to be doing, which will come from your inner being, your intuition, your inner knowing. That is what you might need to explore if you feel like your business might be out of alignment. Get in touch with yourself. Really, again, love journaling. So I would say, see if you can kind of journal on some things to really pull out your desires, what you love to talk about, what you love to teach, what experiences you've had with yourself or your friends or your family where you just really felt like you were in the flow when you were coaching yourself on something or coaching others on something, and see if anything different comes up than what you are currently thinking your business will be about. So just be open to that and be open to that happening perhaps in the future. Like I said, when I was first starting to talk about keto, I loved it. It was awesome. It had helped so much in my life. I was still following that diet because I was still healing my body, and it really just all flowed. And then it just didn't. And then it just stopped flowing. And I realized that wasn't actually what I wanted to spend my life doing. So it's okay if it changes, but keep that in mind, like in the back of your head. If things start feeling like an uphill battle, if you start feeling burnt out, even just thinking about your business or sitting down to work on your business, no matter how many hours you're actually doing that, consider that as a possibility, that you're just not in your dharma anymore, which is your reason for being on this planet, your purpose here. And what is that? Can you get in touch with yourself through meditation, journaling, or just even what you're feeling in that moment to figure out what that might be, if it has changed or if it's not what you're working on? It will definitely behoove you to get out now. It's not going to get any better if you're already feeling like it's not quite right. That's okay. But you've got to kind of come to terms with that and make the changes you need to make to really build the business that you want, that's in alignment with you. And that's when things flow. If you're not finding that flow, it might simply be because you've got to change direction a little bit. And that's okay. All right, so that will wrap it up with the 5 reasons behind business burnout. I hope this gives you something to consider if you are or have ever flirted with that burnout of like, I don't want to do this. This feels so energetically draining. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm overwhelmed. I just feel really stuck and I can't move forward because I'm burnt out. I don't have the energy. I don't have the focus. All of that can be remedied. And you really can and should find the business flow. And that's what we're all about here on this show. All right, I guess that will wrap it up for this episode. And until next time, take care. Hey friends, Shawn here. And if you're a coach or practitioner who's looking to help more people make more money and have more free time, then I have a special invitation for you that you don't want to miss. Right now, I'm hosting a free masterclass that will walk you through the process of adding a signature program to your business. As many of you know, the signature program business model has been my primary way of doing business since 2017. And after 7 programs of my own created and helping dozens of other wellness pros create theirs, I'm now sharing my exact process with you for free in this 1-hour masterclass. Now you might be thinking, Shawn, I'm just not ready to have my own program yet, or I don't have the time to build a program right now. Are you crazy? I totally get it. I get all of it, which is exactly why I created this training in the first place. I want you to see how possible this really is for you and how simple it can be when you have a tried and true proven system in place, no matter where you're at in your business today. So if you're like most coaches and practitioners who have a dream of creating a scalable offer in their business that helps the people they're meant to help without it being directly tied to your time and energy, then there's a seat with your name on it inside my Burnout Proof Your Business Masterclass. In just 1 hour, you're going to learn why adding a signature program will uncap your income potential forever and give you more time for your own life, health, family, and self-care. You'll learn exactly how my client sold out her first program, even with a small audience, because of this one super simple marketing hack that I am going to reveal. You'll learn the simplified, foolproof process that will take your knowledge and experience and turn it into your own program in just 6 weeks. And also how to implement an automated marketing system that will grow an engaged audience full of perfect match clients that can't wait to enroll in your program once it's ready, even if right now you're starting at 0. All you have to do is head to shawnmynar.com/burnoutproof and save your seat for this masterclass before it's gone. shawnmynar.com/burnoutproof. Can't wait to see you there.